X Society. It's a new initiative that I'm founding based on my experience on former NGOs that I've been founding before. It raised because of the necessity of creating something that is more focused on the social impact, but also on the social bias of technology. Because when we talk about technology and discrimination, or technology and challenges to make a good technology, we seem to concentrate on the inherent statistical and mathematical bias of technology. So we try to look at code and we try to look at data, but actually it's even more complicated than that. The social usage of technology tends to be different to the initial idea because society evolves. It's not static, so user behavior will be changed by technology, but it will, in the course of time, also co-shape technology, and there will be an organic evolution of both human behavior and this type of technology. We're creating socio-technical systems that are being applied to automatize a specific human process. You create some specific form of infrastructure in a specific context, and that is going to change the way how human beings interact in that context. This means that you will need to analyze the technical part, but you will also need to analyze the social dimension of that technology, and that leads us to the challenge of creating new models of governance where both the developers, the data scientists, but also the managers that decide that they want to automatize a specific part of their work process are also involved. It's not also about understanding how customers interact with that technology or the benefits that raise from that technology, or understand that they also have some sort of usage of that technology to serve the customer. So understanding different layers of co-shaping and co-creation in that technology, because all those actors are going to have an influence and an impact in the way how these technologies are being deployed. We're going to land in a situation of constantly need to have the oversight of this type of technologies to understand, is human behavior changing? What are the new perks and the new conflicts that are happening there? What needs to be tweaked are specific parts of our working ecosystem that are being unseen. Data scientists cannot provide knowledge about this type of things because they have not been trained for that. This is not their job. This is the job of a sociologist or a social anthropologist. Right now, we are at the very beginning of an ethical conversation. Hopefully, in 2 or 3 years, when we have more data about how technology is really impacting human beings, because there's a lot of fear in the conversation. We assume the specific mathematical bias in specific technologies will have a negative impact on human beings, but we don't really know how they are really impacting us, since there's not that much AI being actually used in our everyday lives. Right now we're having quite a dystopic conversation about AI as something that happens to us, that falls from the tree and objectify us. But fact is that this technology is being created by human beings and used by human beings. And in the moment where you use this type of technology, you become part of the ones creating and shaping that technology. So I think it's very much on us to decide that we want to be subjects using that technology and not objects of that. I don't mean that it's not important to address social inequality issues that are being magnified by this type of technology, but also be constructive about it in terms of make an effort to create the values that you rather want this technology to have as a guiding principle. When we talk about AI, perhaps we should start by not talking about AI, but talking about automatization. Just try to erase this type of semantics that are somehow misleading, because that becomes a sort of blue pause for people to project fears and distract themselves of their own social problems. And I think that this technology indeed might be helpful to address many of the big questions that we will have in the next years to come. What type of society do we want to live in? What is the society of the future? What means social cohesion? What does it mean to use technologies that have an environmental impact? How can we create markets that are sustainable and that are not only based on innovation but also on well-being? We can decide that we can use technology for us to help us implement those ideas, or we can use that technology to magnify the already existing problems. But I don't think that that's a question of technology, that's rather a social question.